want to give a shout out to the creators of this movie, director Jamie Bailey and writer Simon Phillips. The movie's called The Mousetrap. Of course, Mickey Mouse or Steamboat Willie or Steamboat Mickey or whatever it was called hit the public domain January the 1st, 2024. And much like all other horror directors, I'm looking at Jagged Edge Productions. When Winnie the Pooh went into the public domain, we straight up had to have a horror movie right away. So here we are with another horror movie of a classic character we are going to bastardize and turn into a horror franchise. However, I say that with a tongue in my cheek, because honestly, this is how you do it. Unlike what we did with Winnie the Pooh, where it was just like, oh, let's get in the woods, let's get some girls in the woods, let's get some really bad costumes, just go out in the woods, shoot a horror movie, call it Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, and people are going to love it. And then we'll make a cash grab sequel, of course, which will somehow reboot, but still be a sequel, but now be a remake of sorts, and that's what we're going to do. Is Mickey's Mousetrap, or The Mousetrap, whatever you want to call it, the best movie you're ever going to see in your life? No. Is it the best movie you're going to see this year? Probably not. Is it the best movie you're going to watch this week? I highly doubt it. But it's a fun movie. It's a stupid movie. It's a slasher movie done in all the right ways, and it knows exactly what it is. My name is Kevin Halden. This is Nerdly Out Loud, the official channel of nerdly.co.uk, your favourite British home for all your news, reviews, and exclusive interviews. I like to cover everything from the big budget to the low budget to the no budget, with a special keen interest on the lower end of the scale. Please do go over to nerdly.co.uk, check out all the reviews over there, but let's just get right into this. I'll do the plot of the movie, then I'll talk about the cast and the crew of the movie, then I'll talk about what I did and didn't like of the movie, and then I'll give you my final Nerdly Out Loud rating. I'm going to talk quite generously about the movie, but it may not reflect in my final rating, because I have to be pretty honest with you, but I also think there's something here for everyone, so let's just have a look and see. So the movie is basically a young girl called Alex. She works in an arcade, she works on the late shift, she's been asked to stay back by the manager. Some of her friends are coming round to throw a sort of surprise party for her. She doesn't really know that's going to happen, but it is going to happen. Then they're all going to turn up, they're going to have some fun, they're going to drink some beers, they're going to have some sex, probably going to do some drugs, and then, of course, Mickey Mouse is going to start killing everyone. And the way that's done is that the manager, or the boss of the amusements, the arcades, he's a bit of a Steamboat Willie kind of freak nerd, so he has the mask and everything, and he likes watching them in the cinema, and then that's what's going to happen. I guess the mask takes control of him, he becomes a psycho killer, and this becomes a slasher movie in all the best ways. So that's the plot. They have to try and escape Mickey. They do this really cool thing at the start of the movie, and this is one of the things that I did quite like. It's like an opening scroll, which is basically the Star Wars scroll, and it's basically saying that this has nothing to do with Walt Disney, this has nothing to do with their properties, this is quite simply their project. It's a love letter to the character. They did reach out to Disney, however, they wanted nothing to do with it, in as much as they didn't even take the call. And it's a really fun little opening crawl that they do that I quite enjoyed, and it's basically their way of saying, okay, you don't want anything to do with it, we're not going to have anything to do with you, and this is us covering our asses. Like, you know how like YouTubers say allegedly? This is what they did. And I liked it. I really liked it. There's even a little nod at the bottom saying that this is definitely not the Star Wars crawl. It's a completely generic crawl that you would find in Adobe After Effects or something like that. And I love that as well. Just little bits like that show you Jamie Bailey and Simon Phillips genuinely get what they're doing. They understand what they're doing, and they're going to have fun. There's very little else to say about the plot. It is a slasher, as I say. We're going to be killing off the kids as we go. They're going to be trying to get away. They're going to be looking cute. They're all going to be, you've got the jocks, you've got the nerds, you've got the guys you can't trust, you've got the guys you really want to trust, you've got the cute girl, the nerdy girl, and it's fantastic. It does all those things the way you're supposed to do it, and it does them completely right. The dialogue at times is trash, but it's a slasher movie, so you can't really mark it down for that. So let's talk about the cast. And the cast for me, genuinely, and I'm sorry to have to say this, I didn't really recognize any of them. And that's completely fine. That is absolutely fine. I don't have to know every actress ever. But I do want to point out Sophie McIntosh, because she plays Alex, the lead kind of main girl of the movie, and I loved her. She's so good in this. She's ballsy. She's got a lot of moxie. I genuinely thought she was probably the most realistic character you have in this movie, because everybody else is playing up to their tropes. Everybody else is playing up to the genre and doing what they're supposed to do and doing it well. She kind of is this little diamond in the rough that fully gets the movie she's in, but also is bringing a lot more to the role, and I just thought she was great. Another character that I really dug was the character of Rebecca, played by Mackenzie Mills. Now, she's kind of like holding the movie down as well, because the movie does kind of go between what is happening in the arcade amusement and what is happening in a police station where the character of Rebecca is being interrogated, because the police are trying to find out what happened, what went wrong, who killed all these kids. And Rebecca, played by Mackenzie Mills, is regaling them with the story. And I kind of love her, because she's almost this untrustworthy narrator in a way of like, is what she's saying actually what happened, or is she making this sound way cooler than it actually was, or is she making it sound way more brutal than it actually was? I genuinely liked Mackenzie Mills. She doesn't do a lot in the amusement scenes and the arcade scenes, which is fine. It's totally fine. But she's holding it down in the interrogation scenes, and I thought she was great. Obviously, with the cast and the crew, talking about them, Jamie Bailey as the director and Simon Phillips as the writer, I think they've done a really good job here, because they haven't gone the Winnie the Pooh route where they just had to rush and get something out there. And if you are going to rush and get something out there, do a slasher. Do a straight up slasher, Freddy versus Jason, Jason Voorhees, Michael Myers. We need Mickey Mouse to just be this killer in the background who's just going to kill people. It's Mickey Mouse, and hopefully it's all going to work out in the end. That's all you really needed to do. Whereas I feel like with Winnie the Pooh, they tried to throw in this really weird kind of backstory about them being like these feral animals that I did enjoy, until we got to the second movie and they were like, we're retconning the shit out of that now. They're going to be mutants, and actually Winnie the Pooh is Christopher Robin's brother. Like, that's what we're doing with those movies now. So when I look at this movie, it's super, super simple. It's back to basics slasher horror. You know, like last year or the year before, we had the Fear Street trilogy where they went back and they just did it the way it used to be. That's what these guys are doing here. They're just putting Mickey Mouse in there. And the best of it is you get to use the Mickey Mouse footage, like the Steamboat Willie footage, because it's public domain now. So you can tease that as much as you want. You can play around with that as much as you want. And then you got Simon Phillips, the writer, who also plays Mickey, which I just think is a great, great thing. And I thought these guys firmly had their tongues in their cheeks while writing this, and they knew exactly what people wanted to see. They knew what they wanted to see. The kills aren't amazing, but they're good enough. They're practical enough, and they're good enough. That's maybe where Winnie the Pooh kind of has the upper hand on this scale of like things, because there are some pretty gnarly kills in there. This movie, you do have kills, they're just not as big and horrific and gory. But that's fine. I'm not knocking it down for that, because I genuinely think that everybody working on this movie knew what they wanted to release. What I didn't like, I just love the simplicity. I love that it's not the most original movie you'll ever see, but that is part of why slashers work. The genre doesn't need to change. We don't need to reinvent the wheel. You're just throwing a really cool character in there from everyone's childhood and messing with our heads, messing with our brains and doing stuff like that. So there's nothing wrong with that. The dialogue at times, these are like 19, 20-year-olds. They do feel like they're playing it a bit younger, which is a little bit off-putting at times. The different tropey characters of the jock, the geek, the the sexy girl, all that kind of thing. I love the way they all played them. They all wholly committed to their parts, all fully committed to everything they were up to. I love the fact that Mickey can just transport anywhere he wants. He just disappears and reappears. I love that. There's not really much else to talk about with this movie. I just thought it was super fun. It was kind of cheesy. It was kind of lame, but it was fun, and I enjoyed it. And I will say that I enjoyed it much more than the two Winnie the Pooh movies. And right now, that's pretty much all we have to gauge these movies on, because as these characters keep hitting the public domain, and because we're getting like a Peter Pan horror movie, we're getting like a Bambi horror movie. How the hell that's gonna work, I don't know. But we're getting all these different horror movies, and that's fine. Like, keep doing what you're doing. I'm going to be there for the rest of them, but I'm also going to be reviewing them. And I don't want people to take anything negative about what I say, because I just thought this was fun. I think there's a fun movie here for people to watch, and I hope they do. I'm going to give it a 3. I'm going to sit right smack dab on a 3. Again, mostly because it didn't try to be something that it can't be. It didn't try to be this super intellectual horror movie, or it was just cockamamie batshit fun with good kills and Mickey Mouse. So yeah, my name's been Kevin Halden. This is Nerdly Out Loud, the official channel of nerdly.co.uk, your favourite rich home for all of your news, reviews and exclusive interviews. I hope you check this movie out. Go over to nerdly.co.uk. We will undoubtedly have reviews over there. Go and check those reviews out, and then of course make up your own mind. Let us know what you think. Hit me in the comments below as to whether you think I'm bang out of order, whether you think I'm spot on, what you thought of the movie, all that good stuff. That is where the conversation continues. I'm going to head out, and I will see you on the next review. But right now, the Mousetrap, or Mickey's Mousetrap, whatever we're calling it, wherever you are, I'll give this a 3 out of 5. Jamie Bailey, Simon Phillips, I'm intrigued. You kind of leave it wide open for a sequel, and I'm intrigued to see what we get. Just don't retcon everything like the other guys did. And again, you know what? Go and watch Winnie the Pooh 2. It was alright. It was fun. It was fine. But I'm going to go.